Hey guys, well, you saw my last video, I'm sure. It's about to be 10 o'clock, night shop hour, and I'm not kidding either. I mean, 10 o'clock is literally like my peak self, my peak well-being, my peak energy. If I could go play soccer at 10 o'clock, man, I would be an animal. I'd be like scoring 3 or 4 goals. You know, I play my best soccer after 10 o'clock at night. There's nowhere to play, you know. I also play okay in the morning, but it's funny because like I don't have a peak hour. I have like 2 peak periods of time, which is late at night, early in the morning. Middle of the day, I'm worthless. Middle of the night, I'm worthless, you know. But anyway, we're going to talk today a little bit about how a lot of people are overly motivated by money and finance. So the inspiration for this video is I know a lot of younger people who have businesses. They have small businesses. And the Whole Foods pizza I ate back in West Palm Beach, by the way, is catching up with me. But at least it doesn't have seed oils in it. And maybe a step above gas station pizza, but it doesn't have seed oils. So what I noticed is that these guys who start their own businesses, they get real excited about one thing, and that one thing is scaling their business so they can make more money. And so I think something is wrong with me because I don't care about scaling my business, and I'm too worried about doing a good job to care about how much money I'm making. In fact, the idea of scaling my business scares me because I think that when you scale a business, quality control goes to crap. It goes down the drain. And I think that many people who scale their businesses do it understanding that they're going to sacrifice some quality control. They're going to sacrifice customer satisfaction. They're going to sacrifice the relationships they've had with long-term clients to get some new clients. And those new clients are going to be entirely 100%, you know, unknowing of how they used to do things in the past. So it's okay. The current practices or the new practices are okay because we're going to replace our old clients. We've made all the money we could off of them with new clients. So we're going to make all the money we can off of them. At the end of the day, it ends up becoming about how much money you can make. So I was doing some calculating today, and I have about $150,000 in work that is approved on customer estimates. That means that I have $150,000 of cash that I can turn, that I can take labor and parts and turn into. And I'm talking about after I paid for parts. The only problem is that this is stuff where you can't just BS your way through it and knock it out in a few weeks. These are complicated restorations and mechanical services and cars that have been off the road for a long time. And so you look at the amount of work it's going to take. You know, one of our cars is a 1955 228. You look at the amount of work it's going to take to finish this car. I mean, it's massive amount of work. And to me, I look at the money and I'm like, oh, well, it's just money. I'm not going to be able to enjoy it because it's just money. It's going to go away very fast towards things. Or if it doesn't go away, it's going to get invested. Invested why? Invested because that's what you do with your extra money. You don't spend it on vacations. You invest it so that you can improve things later on in your life or pay for emergencies or whatever. Because God forbid, you know, I need to do a major repair on the building or on my house. I don't have any money. But there's no motivation for me because I don't understand really where motivation comes from for money. How do people get motivated about money? What is there to do? I feel like my income is about $100,000 a year, which is great. I always would have been happy with $60,000 or $70,000 a year, so it's a little higher than I had hoped for. But now $100,000 a year is an average basic income for a family of 3. If you want to have a reasonable standard of living, a roof over your head that you own, etc., etc. The funny thing is, though, that when I look at my actual income, it's not $100,000. My actual income is probably more like $30,000 or $40,000, because $60,000 of those dollars somehow find their way back into the business, whether it's putting gas in customer cars or having to make improvements on the house or shop that need to be done. It's just a very confusing process. And I think to myself, if I made $200,000 or $300,000 a year, would things be any different? Probably not. Because if I were making that much money, I wouldn't even have time to enjoy it. I'd have scaled my business so much that the business would basically own every minute of my life. So I either live like an average, slightly boring life with no major financial worries now, or I lead a life that looks good and looks like I'm making money, where actually I'm under a lot of pressure to perform. And I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be this guy where I'm like, sorry, it's 10:05 p.m. I'm tired. I don't want to be this guy where, like, I'm wondering where my $5,000 a month house payment is going to come from. And I'm wondering where my $10,000 a month shop payment is going to come from. And my $13,000 a week payroll is going to come from. Like, how do you keep that juice flowing? Because I know there are people out there that have that kind of life and they balance it and manage it really well. But the thing is, it's at the expense, this is where the things get real dicey. It's at the expense of what? Quality control in your business and quality time with your family. Most men, I find something really interesting. Most men who are like financial overachievers, most older guys, I guess some of them are boomers. Most of them that have run really successful repair shops develop this problem later on in life where the business becomes the most important thing in their life, money becomes their god, and they turn into alcoholics. You can tell that when they get home, first thing they do is they go have a drink. And I'm not talking about one beer. You know, I'm talking about they pour themselves a hard liquor drink. They're red-faced alcoholics. And all they think about is that money addiction cycle where they're like, oh, I'm going to buy a new big truck and a new big boat and then a bigger boat. And my house isn't big enough. I'm going to sell this house and buy a bigger house. You know, they're just not happy with anything. And the first thing is when a customer comes to them and says, hey, I have a problem with the repair you did, instead of saying, oh yeah, let's see what we can do to fix your car, they start arguing with the customer, fighting with the customer, telling the customer to go screw themselves because, oh, we don't make any mistakes at our shop. My technicians are the best, you know, and this and that. And we all know that that's never true, especially when you have 10 techs and you can't really keep an eye on them. They're just technicians. They're just fixing broken Land Rovers all day, which is not a great job to be in. So, I don't know. I mean, do I need more technicians? I have 3 technicians. And I consider them like family, you know. Most of you have been to the shop, know them. They're not just guys.
Speed check reported ahead on I-95 North.
Shut up, Siri. No, there isn't. The thing is, like, what do? Do I scale up? I feel like when you scale up, you have more unnecessary stress, even if you make more money. So, anyway, thank you guys for watching this. Maybe some of you should drop a line in the comments about how I could stand and make a little bit more money and not be too attached to making money. I'll see you guys in the next video.